Why do you like to be alive?
In the movie, Full Metal Jacket Private, Joker says while looking over a mass grave, "The dead know only one thing, it is better to be alive." Really keeps me going knowing whatever shit I'm in right now. It could be worse. The dead don't know anything. They're dead. Sure, they don't know joy, they miss out on stuff. But they don't know what they're missing. They don't know pain, anxiety, embarrassment, anger, etc. They don't have to work or worry where their next meal will come from. They don't have to worry about others taking away their rights, or the rights of others. The only people who care about the dead are the people who are still alive. Aside from missing them either because you love them or rely on them, you shouldn't be concerned about the dead. They're dead. If you believe in an afterlife, then you also shouldn't be concerned about them. Worried they might be in hell? Well, if they're in hell, it's because your God wants them there. And either you believe in your God and think, okay, if they're in hell it's because they deserve it, or you think your God is unjust and they don't deserve it. So, spend less time worrying about the dead and more time worrying about how you can help your neighbor. The premise to Wristcutters, a love story, is that people who kill themselves end up in a similar existence but slightly worse. There's no smiling and no stars. No one is brave enough to try again because they don't know how much slightly worse it'll be. That quote made me think of this movie because the protagonists long for the life they gave up. Okay, so after posting a fairly depressing comment here and getting an equally optimistic response from Op, I took another look at the rest of the comments. Op is literally spreading optimism to everybody here even though a lot of us have really pessimistic answers. I was at the edge of a mental breakdown, but right now OP's genuine kindness brings a smile to my face. So there's my answer. People like Op are my reason and I wish I had more people like that. Edit. I just woke up to my first ever gold comment referenced, as well as my first ever diamond. Thank you guys so much. I want to say to you that this comment makes me super hopeful. I rarely see comments on Reddit giving any credit to people trying to bring optimism into people's lives, but you did. It gives me also a wish to continue to spread optimism even when faced with bombardments of pessimism. I hope you will have, if not the best, a good day, week, month, and definitely a better next year. Because I can feel and I can think. I can feel love, joy, happiness, anger, sadness and all in between. I can go anywhere in my mind. I can do anything and become anything I want with a little imagination. I can play and be goofy as hell, or I can be as sober as a judge. These are all good things and make my life worth living. Well, this is likely not going to be seen, but hey, I don't always like being alive. I have a lot of mental health issues. The reason I do like living is that killing myself wouldn't end my pain, it would just give it to my loved ones and even the police that had to find me. So if I'm not gonna kill myself, I may as well try and be happy as often as I can. The good days outnumber the bad a few years after making that choice, and it's honestly lovely. Same here. Over the years I've lowered a lot of my expectations and I'm happier for it. These days I live for the small pleasures, snuggling with the dog, a good meal, a funny Netflix show, etc. I enjoy the hell out of little stuff, and the bad days? I write them off, like rainy days in summer. Today was bad? Meh, move on, let's see how tomorrow shapes up. I understand this view of things, too. Whilst I don't see life in exactly the same way anymore, I would just like to say that I'm really happy to read that you're enjoying life much more having come to that conclusion, and I'm also really proud of you for pushing through the hard times. I think the things you've said here speak volumes about you as a person, and whilst I don't know you, you sound like you'd be a wonderful person to call a friend. I hope the people you care about appreciate you as much as you deserve, and I hope life continues to have happiness and good surprises in store for you that outweigh the bad. Cats, that and I always wonder about tomorrow. Like, is the next Game of Thrones series gonna be good? What would it be like to live and teach nomadic Mongolians English? Would they find fart and wiener jokes funny? How tall am I compared to their horses? Would their eagles like me? Or what would guacamole spaghetti taste like? Could I invent a new pasta shape? There are so many. Will that book I want to write be any good? Meet someone I know randomly traveling abroad. Wondering what is the best cheese for me. Havarti, but I had some farm-raised cheese in Carcassonne that blew my mind. Trying to identify a new species. Do aliens exist? Can I beat the world record at skipping stones, as I am pretty good? Who will write or call be out of the blue? Will Elon Musk make it to Mars? Will my meme stocks hold, or am I waiting too long to get out? Where is history headed? Is there anything more of a thrill than fighting in a war?
Would the people I lived with in a war recognize me?
What about WW3? Is so-and-so gay? 'Cause I am pretty sure that they are. The Nest elections. Will my father ever admit he was wrong about Trump, or ever wrong? Are horses smarter than dogs? What is the best overall fishing lure? Are eggs healthy or not to eat every day? Would I enjoy a second hike of the West Highland Way? When is cannabis decriminalized in the US federally? Do fish know that they are in a tank, and do they like me? Why don't bathroom doors swing both ways? What will the hipsters be like when I am old? Which cat is the one that farts all the time? Who is the next person on US money? Is all the National Mall space there reserved for new war meow riles? Are new colors possible? Are birds really real? I love travel, so I want to live with Mongolian nomads, hike the 88 temple pilgrimage, live on a 13th century caravel, write a book in Theth, Albania. I could go on all night. Seriously, if anyone needs to talk, PM me or write here. I have been through a lot of shit, and think I have some understanding and inspiration to keep you going. Because that's fun. Life is some kind of black, cold, meaningless tornado, and we are all it. It's like a super hard enigma mixed with the most complicated board game ever, and we all have to try making sense of it and finding our way through this tornado. And in a way, I find it beautiful and entertaining. Living is the ultimate challenge. Some people are really good at it, some people try to kick in the board. Me, I'm just fascinated, and I try to play the best I can and have fun while I'm doing it. School taught me to find a career that pays $80K a year and pay off college debt until I'm in my 40s. 3 semesters in, I dropped out of community college, got a job that pays $25K a year, and I'm super happy with it. My life goals changed from, think about your future career and put all your focus into that, even if it means going into debt or being unhappy every day, to, just do what makes you happy, so long as it pays you enough that you can live comfortably. Now I have a brand new car, I've got tons of fun hobbies I can afford, and I'm going to start building my 401k in January, as well as getting benefits from my work. If I was still in college right now, I wouldn't have these benefits and I'd be just adding to the debt I'd be paying off if I get my teeth realigned or new glasses. Ask me this a few days ago, I would have said nothing. But honestly, there's a lot that I want to still do. I found a renewed purpose in life. I am finally working towards solidifying who and what I am. And to answer your question, I like being alive because I found the discovery exciting. I like walking up knowing my best friend is ready to talk to me and genuinely cares for me. I like living because I can finally see that there are people that care for me. I like living because I am starting to understand my emotions. I like living because, well, there's so much more to figure out, and good or bad, I am finally ready for it. I was a horribly depressed teenager who longed for death. I was lonely, didn't have a lot of friends, and some rough times at home with my family. I didn't want to be a burden on my family, though, so I held out. I figured I could always kill myself later if things got worse. Things got much better after my teen years, though there were still quite a few sad times. I just held on for 10 minutes at a time if I needed. But, getting a little agency of my own, a job, some money to do with as I pleased helped. A goal of traveling helped, even if it was just to get away from my family. So now the answer to the question at hand. I'm so grateful to hear my son's ridiculous jokes, to see the kind human he's becoming. To see his smile, to hear his ideas. I love thinking of the memories I have of exploring new places and the adventures of finding them, and the feeling of accomplishment to navigate myself there. I love the sound of rain and how green the leaves look in it. I love holding up my friends and being strong for them when they need it, and letting them be strong for me when I need it. Bug hugs to you. I like to be alive, to have that human touch across the internet, to know you're not alone. Maybe this sounds really corny, but there's always something new to try, see, or learn about in life. New places, interesting cultures, art and literature, hobbies to try, skills to pick up, food, music, people to talk to and meet. Sometimes I get really low about how much people disappoint me, but for every evil human action, there is another genuinely kind human action being performed somewhere. And those are really great to see. It's also motivating to consider how we can encourage more of those kind thoughts and actions as a whole. I'm not sure that's a reason I like being alive for, but I suppose it's a challenge I want to address in my career. My wife, our future together, our wonderful life, and all the things yet to come. I nearly didn't make it this far, on purpose or otherwise, and I promise you, if you hold on to the truly good things in life like walks at night, or your favorite songs, that one hobby you suck at but it still feels good to try, shit starts looking up. Take it from me, someone whose 2016 was worse than I could ever have imagined. 2020 was the year I married the best friend I ever had. Also, an honorable mention would be Tillamook's Tillamook Mudslide Ice Cream. I might kill for the last tub of that to ever be made. Skyrim is fun. People would miss me if I weren't. I could miss out on literally so many opportunities if I wasn't. And I'm only 16. To think that past me nearly did the die scares the shit out of me. I'm glad it was only for a little bit though. No amount of depression will stop me. P.S. I was young, and my family dog had died. I had a huge emotional attachment to that dog. I was about 12 when it happened, so it struck hard. Because even though my real life might be boring and difficult because of school and things, when I get online in my games I have a lot of friends there that I do stuff with, and if I die I'd never be able to see them again, even if I don't know them. And I love my family, I love cooking, I love listening to my music, school's the only thing I hate, which is a shame that it takes up so much time and attention, but I love the rest of my life. Besides, I want to see how my life turns out and if I get the career I want. Also because of people like you, people who try to help strangers feel a bit better in their lives, even when it doesn't benefit themselves. I do not really, to be honest. Through the suffering there are moments. Thin glimmers. But the moments appear to become less and less as I get older and I find myself hanging onto those past moments more and just being patient in experiencing more of them. Like stepping stones across water. Soon there will be no more stones. One can watch others discover these moments and find contentment, but ultimately life is suffering. Most of life is shit. I like being alive for the time when life is not shit. A sunny day, a rush of adrenaline as I jump into a body of water, the thrill of getting into the ring and having a challenging sparring session, looking into the eyes of the girl I love, having sex, eating great food, my team scoring a winning goal in the last minute, listening to my favorite music, watching a movie that moves me. I endure the shit because sometimes it's not shit. There's an old man I sometimes visit who can talk your ear off for hours on end. You'll sit down with him, and he'll start to unload his stories, one after the other, of his old friends, his years in the radio industry, and his misadventures chasing women. Once, halfway through his usual ramble, he stopped, turned to me, and said, "You know what? Life is fun, and it stinks to know that I'm getting close to the end, because the whole thing's just been so damned fun." That's always stuck with me. It's my belief that the person who's had the most successful life is the one who, when it's all said and done, has the best stories to tell his grandkids. Because I know that this is my one and only time I will ever have the opportunity to experience consciousness and all the joys and wonder that come along with it. The thought of not existing anymore for all of eternity and literally never ever coming back is terrifying, so I like to make the most out what's in front of me before I go. 2020 has been a hell of a year for everyone. My story, in short, is I've spent the entire year away from my family and living alone in a tiny hotel room. It's been a roller coaster for me, but at the same time I've learned and developed so much emotionally. From extreme loneliness-induced depression, to really just letting my big ol' heart feel and love. It's been a total flip for me, and even when those lonely demons start to resurface, I battle them with thoughts of gratitude, good music, or sitting down to start another piece of art. To answer Op's question, I enjoy living because of the ups and the downs. The perspective of life and the experiences we gain along the way. To quote the doctor, the way I see it, every life is a pile of good things and bad things. The good things don't always soften the bad things, but vice versa, the bad things don't always spoil the good things and make them unimportant. Actually, that's a really good question. I don't know why, but I think it's because there are so many cool and shitty things to see here on this little planet of ours, and I don't want to miss some things that may or may not occur after a suicide. I don't want to kill myself, by the way. But if wouldn't something extremely cool happens after my death, I couldn't forgive my stupidity. I like exercising my will, the sense of freedom and fulfillment that comes from taking a notion or desire and transforming it into reality. It could be mastering a skill, implementing a software system, achieving a weightlifting goal, exploring a place I've never been. It doesn't even have to be my own vision. Sometimes I'm helping someone else achieve their goal, but I'm directing the choices. Very occasionally, I'll run across a situation where I feel like if I hadn't been here, the goal, vision, accomplishment would never have happened. Then I feel like I've fulfilled my purpose. To me, that's the best thing about being alive and being human. So, when I was younger, I struggled with suicide tendencies. I still struggle with the thoughts. But, I had almost attempted one day and I don't remember what had stopped me. The following weekend, me and my uncle went up to our hunting house with my grandparents, and they finally let me take the four-wheeler off the house property, down the road, onto the hunting property. I remember speeding through the trails, dodging branches, going through puddles, and just feeling so alive and happy. I raced through one trail, stood up, and just screamed of joy. As I was screaming, going super fast through these trails with the wind in my hair and the cold wind on my face, I was so happy to be alive. I was so happy to have not ended my life just days before. Now when I start to really struggle, I remember how I felt all those years ago, and it helps me carry on. To know that moments like those will always be ahead. To anyone who also struggles with suicide or depression, find the little things. Little things like how the sun shines through the trees on your way home from work. Find your moments and hold on to them. Same reason as almost everyone else, the fear of death. We would have been long dead if we weren't scared of death. That's mainly what motivates us to live. We are all afraid of death, even those who commit suicide. Something scared them more than death. Other than that, I don't believe in reincarnation or any afterlife. I am glad to get this one chance to experience the universe, and I'll try make the best of it as I can. I have a big list of pros and one of cons. Right now the pros have it, and on a good morning after a semi-decent sleep and the most basic cup of coffee, I can cast the cons in a pro light. I watched one of my dogs eat my other dog's shit today. It made me angry, disappointed, and then I laughed at the absurdity and twisted nature of man's relationship with a pseudo-parasitic, scavenger companion that eats its own shit. I mean, WTF. The experience of that thought alone made it a pro. Personally, my friends and family. But I have a whole lot of others. After attempting suicide 3 times and almost dying one of the times, I've really had to reflect on why I'm still here and why it's not that bad. Even good at some times. I was going to put a BS answer that was all depressing, but after reading the comments I decided not to. On a side note, if anyone can't think of a reasons why they like to be alive, please message me. I have a list of hundreds that I would love to share with you. Stay safe, everyone. The taste of garlic on fresh summer tomatoes. The taste of a good wine. My husband. Seeing my kids' reaction to things they've never experienced before. Seeing my kids' joy. The ocean. Ridiculously beautiful pieces of art and music. The feel of a hot shower. The smell of wonderful and delicious things. Creating something that other people enjoy. The sound of people laughing in another room while I'm warm and comfy in bed. Good sex. That feeling when you touch down in another country after a long plane ride. Love. A hearty, honest laugh with family and friends. The first warm day of the year. To be truthful, nothing is keeping me alive. I lost pretty much everything I had a few months ago. Couldn't afford living in one state, so had to move in with my mom on the coast. Left all my friends behind. My entire immediate and extended family have such opposing political views than I do that I'm the one they don't really enjoy seeing anymore. I'm for B, not T. I have a boyfriend, but that's all. I rarely see him, as we live about an hour away from each other and he works early mornings and I work nights. I guess what keeps me living is the thought that nothing matters in the end, and I'm not trying to say that like a pessimist or anything, it's just the truth for me. Everything is either chaos and space dust, and I'll blink out of existence one day, or I am literally the center of everything, and nothing else is real. See The Egg on Kurtzge's GT for more info. Their long story. I am extremely dissatisfied with life. But maybe the longer I live, the better my next one may be, if there is one. Oh man, where do you start? Well, animals are friggin' sick. Flowers and clouds too. Art, architecture, nice candles, blankets, good lighting, food. OMG food. If I save up enough money, I can fly to a different part of the world and explore. Beer, wine, weed, friendship, making love, crisp air, walking through nature, swimming in fresh bodies of water, making a stranger laugh, making your friend's day, making your parents proud, the library, the whoosh of air when your train pulls in, new shirt or something that makes you feel cute AF. Plants, coffee, sleep, a hot shower, making eye contact with a stranger in the store when another customer is acting a fool. A freshly clean apartment, when you do something that makes you nervous but then it turns out better than you expected. There is so much to be excited about. Please let yourself get excited, even if it's small or silly. Life can get lifey, so I like finding joy in the small, tender moments. I want to grow old enough to have kids, get to Christmas time and set out milk and cookies with them. I would get all the presents under the tree, then eat the cookies and drink the milk all while everyone is fast asleep, and when they wake up ill act just as exited as them and have a great Christmas with them. I really don't like being alive as of right now. It's been getting better, but my lowest low was in 2017 when I almost hanged myself. Of course I'm alive, but what kept me here was my younger siblings. I couldn't bear them walking in on that or even them hearing about it. I'm staying strong for them and finding small things to look forward to. There is always light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes it's just harder to find. Because it gets better. 10 years ago, if you had told me this, I would have laughed in your face and told you to fuck yourself. Now looking back, it seems like a lifetime ago, and that person is a mere shadow of who I have become. There are so many little chances that can change your entire life. I never experienced this, until now. AMD, I'm glad I stuck around and found out. I only hope that I can help other people attain the same. I, honestly, stay alive for my family's sake, and to help them when they are in need. It's what keeps me going. I've been suicidal and had suicidal thoughts since young, but the thought of hurting my family, or making them struggle, really breaks my heart, so I work hard to help them navigate life. Whether it's the occasional $20 for gas, or help move, or just a short conversation so they can vent their struggles. So far life's only gotten better the further into it I go. I met my partner early on and we grew together into people we love and respect with a shared set of goals and rich interests. We've made more money every year since we graduated college, with our current path only going to accelerate that. We've traveled, lived abroad, and picked the city we want to live in out of the whole country. Longevity research is looking more and more promising, and our projections show we'll have enough money to afford it when it becomes necessary. My life is pretty awesome right now, and to all indications it's only going to keep on getting better and better, potentially forever. Because it's the only way for a mortal to grow a soul. Mortal man is a machine, a living mechanism. His roots are truly in the physical world of energy. Many human reactions are mechanical in nature, much of life is machine-like. But man, a mechanism, is much more than a machine. He is mind-endowed and spirit-indwelt, and though he can never throughout his material life escape the chemical and electrical mechanics of his existence, he can increasingly learn how to subordinate this physical life machine to the directive wisdom of experience by the process of consecrating the human mind to the execution of the spiritual urges of the indwelling spirit. I like my wife. I like my dogs. Work is work, but it brings a certain level of satisfaction getting shit done. I also am a big fan of the arts. Think of the things we get to see and hear. Can't see, you can still hear. Can't hear, you can still see. Can't do either? Well, shit, Helen Keller did more in her life than I may ever accomplish, and that's some top-notch motivation to really value the senses that I have. There's a lot of great reasons to be alive. Depression and hardship do an amazing job of blinding us to those things. To anyone struggling to see why being alive is any good, you matter. You are needed. We just have to slog along until better days come. I have overcome serious issues. I used to be much unhappier. When you're done taking life and health for granted, when you're done looking negatively at yourself and think that there is always something you could improve, that you are unperfected although not such a bad person after all, then you actually enjoy life while you're at it.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video. And if you are new, subscribe and click on the bell icon.